Good morning, Facebook family. It's been a while. I've been back for 2 or 3 days. As you can see, I did a few things in Chicago, a few live feeds in Chicago. It was bananas. I had a great time. But I just wanted to tap in with you guys. I was driving to work. I was talking to a good friend this morning. I'm just going to jump right in. I was talking to a good friend this morning, and I'm checking the date and the time. Okay, and we were talking and we were interacting and we were talking about relationships. And you guys know that I'm for good relationships. And, in the beginning, when I was coming of age, let's use that term. When I was coming of age as a young lady, relationships were important to me. Socializing was important to me. It was very, very hard for me when I was outcast because me and my brothers did not have the clothing that put us up to our peers' approval. That was hurtful for me. And I felt in my heart that I had really a lot to offer, but at the same time, because of my peers' disapproval of what me and my brothers had on the outside, right, which was our materialistic clothes and garb and stuff, which was subpar to them, it was the best that we had, but the best that we had wasn't enough, right? And I want you guys to hold on to that. The best you have just isn't enough. What do you do when the best you have just isn't enough? Ergo to the title of the feed, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Now, I want to talk about that for a minute because that's an old proverb. And I used to watch a lot of psychological spy thrillers. And that was mentioned a lot, especially with espionage and spying and, covert activities. And, the spy with the Russian accent or the Nazi accent or, whatever was going on would always, you would hear that phrase, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And you're like, wow. What is that? Dun, 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 dun. The drama of it all. But what happened was, I Googled it this morning because I'm the Google girl, because it dropped into my spirit as me and my friend was talking. And what I was learning was that it's an old ancient proverb that strongly suggests, when the time is needed, that two opposing forces rally up together to fight a common enemy. Got it. I didn't think I was going to remember it, but I got it. So remember that and hold on to the other thing that I talked about. When you're 100% or when the best that you have just isn't enough, what do? Hold on to those two things because I'm going to swivel back around to them. But I want to talk about this because it's so very important. And relationships were very, very important to me. Matter of fact, they became to a point where they became vital to my existence. And I latched on to anything and anybody that I felt was of substance. As the years progressed and I began to learn a few things about life, I started learning about relationships. When especially the terrain that I grew up in, there's this certain code. There's this unspoken constitution, right? There's certain things with regards to relationships that you just don't do. Right? And one of those things was, if you didn't ride with me, if you wasn't down with me when I was walking, you ain't gonna be rolling with me when I'm riding. Right? Now, that to the untrained ear, that could sound like you just means that you ain't catch the bus with me, so when I get my whip, you ain't gonna be riding with me. But that could mean a multitude of things. But I didn't learn that until I became a grown woman. Like when I'm walking through life, learning what I need to learn, getting what I need to get. The people that I encounter along the way, right? If they couldn't fuck with me when I was at my low point, right? When I start rolling and acquiring some things and being of that acceptable circle, why would I want to fuck with you then? I'm just saying. And that's what that means, essentially, to me today. So I want to get back to the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And me and this friend was talking this morning on the phone. Hey, Rob, I see your picture. You cut the locks off. But let me stay on track, Rob, because I don't want to get distracted. But the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And me and this person was talking this morning, and we were talking about relationships, and now what relationships mean to me pale in comparison to what they meant to me back then. And I must just say this. Just because we've been together for the long haul, and I'm talking about, because I'm one for longevity. I have relationships that are esteemed for 20, to probably as long as I've been almost on this planet. Right? But just because the relationships have longevity, that's not important to me anymore. The history is not as important to me anymore as the substance. Does that make sense? So aligning myself with the title that I use, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I had a layover in Chicago on my way back home. And anybody who's been listening to my feed, especially one from Chicago, the crowning moment was the bucket list, right? And if you listen to that feed, you that basically surmise this journey that I'm about to go on. I feel it. It's about to pop off. So I was sitting next to this couple, and they're not of my skin color. They're not of my ethnic background. They're not of my cultural beliefs. They're not from where I'm from. If you get me? But for whatever reason, we engaged in conversation. Strangers. Never met them before in my life. And I'm getting there. Please stay with me. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Right? So we're sitting there and we get to talking. And they're talking. She's a school teacher and he's a retired whatever he is, and he has a PhD, and they have some health issues, and we're talking. And I usually don't shout out the names, but this guy, he really, really impressed me. Now I'm telling you, not of my, and see, you gotta know what my background and my breeding was. I gave you a little bit of it, but my background and my breeding was solely entrenched in people that share common elements, such as myself: skin color, cultural beliefs, religious beliefs, values as such. And this person paled in comparison to me. And we're sitting here and we're talking, and for a second there, I didn't see color, I didn't see race, I didn't see religion, and we shared some common goals. We shared some similar beliefs. And I'm saying all this because, like, I need to take another look. Right? Something happened to me the other day. I was sitting here and, I have some things going on in the coming future with regards to my son, and got some things planned. And it really broke my heart yesterday. I'm going to say it. It broke my heart yesterday. Disappointed me to the point where I was almost this close, almost shocked, but I'm not surprised. And so, because I've been through so much, I'm not surprised no more. Nothing surprises me anymore, but you can't shock me. Big difference. We'll talk about that later in another feed. But anyway, and to the point where this person said some things, and when he said it to me, I was sitting there like, and this is a person who I've been in a relationship with. Longevity. Brevity. But yesterday's performance only showed me that there's no substance. Does that make sense? Now, I took a look at the interaction that I had with these two individuals on a 2 to 3 hour layover in Chicago, and I took a look at this relationship that I have right here in Jersey, where I was born and bred, right? 18, 20 years, 20, 25 years, probably even longer. And I put both of them up face to face. Guess who won? So that's why I titled this feed today, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." Sometimes I have to go away so that I could get grounded back home. Sometimes I have to go and see something else far away, so that when I come back home, I have the opportunity to take another look. I don't know. And the same about, listen, be real clear. Just like I've been in relationships with these people for 10, 20, 25 years, probably even longer. Like, they probably feel the same way about me. Let's swing that back around. So what do you do? Going back to the question at the beginning of this feed, what do you do when your best just ain't good enough? My answer is you keep doing the best you can. And not to meet anybody else's approval, keep doing the best you can until I can meet up to my own standard. My comfort level. Where I can look in the mirror every morning and say, I'm okay with me. Quite pleased with my whole transformation that's taken place. And with that, it's 6:44. I'm going to go into work because tomorrow we got off. And I'll talk to you guys later. Shocked, but not surprised. You guys have a great day. You deserve it, and you deserve it definitely if you're pursuing it. Have a great day. Bye.